Are you submitting Medicare claims without truly understanding the intricate pricing logic that dictates your reimbursement? For many healthcare providers and revenue cycle managers, the process can feel like a black box. You meticulously document services, assign codes, and send the claim on its way, hoping for the best. Yet, what happens behind the scenes is a complex, automated dance of rules and calculations that directly impacts your organization's financial viability. Understanding this process is not merely an academic exercise, it is a fundamental requirement for ensuring fair compensation for the vital services you provide. It is the difference between a healthy revenue stream and one plagued by unexplained denials and underpayments. This journey from submission to payment is governed by a sophisticated set of tools, primarily the claims grouper and the claims pricer. Think of these as the gatekeepers of reimbursement. They don't just accept your codes at face value, they interpret them within a vast framework of regulations set by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS. This framework is designed to standardize payments across the nation, ensuring that a specific procedure is reimbursed similarly, regardless of where it's performed, while accounting for regional cost differences. Failing to grasp how these systems categorize and value your work means you are navigating a critical financial process with one eye closed, leaving your revenue vulnerable to systemic errors. The initial step involves the claims grouper. This system acts like a master sorter, taking the raw data from your claim, the diagnosis codes, procedure codes, and other patient details, and categorizing it into a specific payment group. For inpatient services, this would be a diagnosis-related group, or DRG, and for outpatient services, an ambulatory payment classification, or APC. The grouper's job is purely organizational. It doesn't calculate the payment amount itself. Instead, it places the claim into the correct bucket based on the clinical information provided. An error in coding or documentation at this stage can lead the grouper to assign the claim to a lower-weighted and therefore lower-paying category from the very start. Once the claim is properly grouped, it moves to the next critical stage, the claims pricer. This is where the numbers are crunched. The pricer takes the group assignment, like the DRG or APC, and applies a complex formula to determine the final reimbursement amount. This calculation incorporates multiple factors: a national base rate, adjustments for geographic location, like the wage index, the specific hospital's policies and any other relevant payment provisions, such as outlier payments for unusually costly cases. The pricer is the ultimate calculator, translating the clinical story of the claim into a specific dollar figure. Its accuracy is paramount, and its logic is unforgiving. To better understand the distinct roles of the grouper and the pricer, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine you are building a custom piece of furniture for a client. The claims grouper is like the blueprint specialist. You provide a list of materials, your diagnosis and procedure codes, and the specialist examines them to determine what kind of furniture you are building: a chair, a table, or a bookshelf. This classification is crucial because each category of furniture has a different base value. The specialist doesn't decide the final price, they simply categorize the project based on the components you've listed. A mistake here, like mislabeling a complex mahogany desk as a simple pine stool, sets the stage for a significant undervaluation. Following this classification, the project moves to the claims pricer, who acts as the cost accountant. The accountant takes the blueprint specialist category, say, mahogany desk, and begins the detailed pricing calculation. They factor in the base cost for that category, add adjustments for local labor rates, which is the geographic wage index, and account for any special features you included that might warrant extra payment, like outlier provisions. They are the ones who ultimately produce the final invoice. If their rate books are outdated, or if they misapply a regional cost adjustment, the final price will be wrong, even if the initial classification was perfect. The two systems must work in perfect harmony. This progression highlights the sequential nature of claims processing. The grouper's work must be completed accurately before the pricer can even begin its function. A claim for an inpatient stay with complications, for example, is first analyzed by the grouper. It reviews the principal diagnosis, secondary diagnoses, and procedures performed to assign it to a specific MSDRG, or Medicare Severity Diagnosis-related group. This MSDRG reflects the patient's severity of illness and the resources consumed. The grouper's decision is the foundation upon which the entire payment structure is built. An incomplete or inaccurate set of codes will inevitably lead to an incorrect and almost always lower Mississippi DRG assignment. Only after this MSDRG is assigned does the pricer take over. In the world of Medicare, this software is known as the PC pricer. It pulls the specific MSDRG, looks up the corresponding relative weight, and multiplies it by the hospital's specific base rate. Then, it layers on all the other necessary adjustments for things like medical education costs, care for low-income patients, which are DSH payments, and regional wage differences. The final output is the precise reimbursement amount the hospital is due. Any hiccup in this intricate calculation, whether from an outdated pricer or a misinterpretation of the rules, directly translates into a payment error. The consequences of using outdated or improperly configured grouper and pricer systems are, honestly, severe and multifaceted. The most immediate and noticeable impact is on your bottom line. CMS updates its payment systems, including the relative weights for DRGs and APCs at least annually. If your internal systems are not updated in lockstep with these changes, you are essentially calculating your payments based on last year's rules. This almost always results in underpayments. A procedure whose reimbursement value increased in the latest update will still be priced at the old lower rate by your system, leading to a steady leakage of revenue that can amount to millions of dollars over the year for a large facility. Beyond the direct financial losses from underpayments, there are significant compliance risks to consider. Submitting claims based on outdated logic can lead to both underpayments and overpayments. While underpayments hurt your revenue, systematically receiving overpayments can attract the attention of auditors, such as the recovery audit contractors or RACs. Discovering such systemic errors can lead to costly takebacks, where you are forced to return the excess payments. Furthermore, it can trigger wider audits and even fines or penalties for non-compliance. Maintaining accurate and current pricing systems is not just about maximizing revenue. It is a fundamental aspect of good governance and risk management in healthcare. These issues are often silent and insidious. They don't typically manifest as outright claim denials, which are easy to spot and appeal. Instead, they appear as subtle, persistent underpayments that can be difficult to detect without a sophisticated auditing process. A claim might be paid, but for a few $100s less than what was actually owed. Multiplied across thousands of claims, this silent leakage erodes your organization's financial health. Revenue cycle teams may spend countless hours chasing down individual denials while completely missing the larger systemic issue of incorrect pricing logic that is costing them far more. It is a hidden drain on resources that only worsens over time. The operational drag caused by these inaccuracies cannot be overstated. When your internal payment estimates do not match the final remittances from payers, your finance and accounting teams are left to unravel the discrepancies. This process, known as variance analysis, becomes a time-consuming and frustrating endeavor. Staff must manually investigate why the expected payment differs from the actual payment, a task made nearly impossible if the root cause is an outdated pricer. This inefficiency diverts skilled personnel from more strategic tasks, like process improvement and complex denial management, to tedious and often fruitless reconciliation work. So how can healthcare organizations protect themselves from these pitfalls and ensure accurate reimbursement? The solution lies in a proactive and technology-forward approach. The first and most critical step is to ensure that your CMS pricers and groupers are updated religiously. These updates are not optional, they are essential maintenance for your revenue cycle engine. Organizations should have a clear process in place to download, test, and implement the latest versions of the PC Pricer Mississippi, DRG Grouper, and APC Grouper as soon as they are released by CMS. Treating these updates with the urgency they deserve is the bedrock of a healthy reimbursement strategy. A more advanced solution involves integrating these pricing and grouping tools directly into your core revenue cycle management platform. Instead of using them as standalone applications, embedding this logic within your workflow allows for real-time claim validation and pricing before submission. This proactive approach enables you to model expected reimbursement with a high degree of accuracy. It allows your team to identify potential grouping errors, coding issues, or pricing discrepancies on the front end, giving you the opportunity to correct them and ensure the claim is clean and accurate before it ever leaves your system. This shifts the focus from reactive reconciliation to proactive optimization. This integration also empowers your team with powerful analytics. When expected reimbursement is calculated accurately at the time of billing, it becomes a reliable benchmark against which actual payments can be measured. Any variance immediately flags a claim for review, allowing your team to quickly identify underpayments or zero pays and take action. This creates a tight, automated feedback loop that not only accelerates revenue recovery, but also provides valuable insights into payer behavior and emerging denial trends. It transforms your revenue cycle from a series of disjointed steps into a smart, data-driven, and cohesive system designed for financial integrity and efficiency. Ultimately, maintaining updated and integrated claims processing practices is about more than just avoiding errors. It's about securing the financial future of your healthcare organization. In an environment of shrinking margins and increasing complexity, you cannot afford to leave money on the table due to outdated technology or inefficient workflows. By embracing the tools available and committing to a culture of continuous improvement, you can ensure that you are being paid correctly and fully for the essential care you deliver. We invite you to learn more about how integrating modern pricing solutions can fortify your revenue cycle and maximize your financial performance.